Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. Y'all, we have another viewer-inspired craft and I think you're going to love it. Stay tuned. Welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you decided to stop by, and thank you so much for supporting me and supporting my channel. And a big thank you to everyone who has bought me a cup of coffee or is a member of my monthly members group. And I can't say it enough, by supporting me with coffee and by supporting my monthly members group, you guys truly are helping me to keep this channel running at the level we have all come to expect and to love. So thank you so very much. A lot of you watched the video where I used the Dollar Tree wooden planks to make a wooden journal, photo album, notebook, whatever you wanted to call it. And that inspired one of you to make a suggestion that I really, really love. Y'all know how I love making skinnies on this channel. When I was in the Dollar Tree, I picked up the wooden square planks as well as these rectangular planks. At the time, I had absolutely no idea what I would do with either one of them. But as you know, I turned the wooden ones into journal covers, and there are so many other ideas that I have for those, and I'll probably use them some more in upcoming videos. But in this particular case, with the rectangular planks, one of you suggested skinny notebooks. And I absolutely love that. Skinny notebooks or skinny notepads using the long planks. So that is what we're going to be making today. And here is one that I have already made. Y'all, I love it. And I think you will too. So I'm going to give you a closer look at this once we get ready to go over what we're going to need. So y'all know what time it is. It's time to make it. So here is what we're going to be making today. We are going to be making this beautiful, absolutely beautiful wood covered skinny notepad. I'll open it so that you can see the inside. I just have some very modest dressing on the inside cover, and then we have our skinny notepad on this side. Now I did something a little bit different with this one from the first one. On the first one, I used some of the wire coils that I took apart and used those to bind. Today we're going to bind with some crinkled seam binding because I think it adds an additional layer of charm to this, and then we'll decorate with some stickers. So here is what I'm using. I am using some of the wood planks from Crafter's Square. You get 6 of these in a pack for $1. And I'm just going to round these at 7 by 3 in size, so that'll make it easier when you're trying to figure out the size of your pad. And then we'll be using some of the skinny notepads that I get from currentcatalog.com. They make these in various seasons. And these actually measure 6.5 by 2.5, so they're perfect for this little project here. And then I have 3 10-inch strips of crinkled seam binding. I'll probably cut this down once we finish the project, but we're starting with 3. Of course, we're going to need 2 wooden planks and paint and Mod Podge. Okay, so I'm wearing gloves because I am a very messy painter, and I don't want to have to spend a whole lot of time trying to clean a bunch of paint from my hands. I have already prepped one of my boards and it's completely ready to go. I'll show you how we do the board. So these boards can have somewhat of a rough edge, and all I'm doing is taking a nail file. You can use a sanding block, you can use a nail file, you can use an emery board. You just want to try to knock a little bit of that roughness off. So once you have some of that roughness removed, then just go back with a dry paper towel and wipe away that dust. Now to put my paint on, I'm actually going to be using a sponge brush. And the paint that I'm using, this color, is an acrylic paint from Folk Art, and it's called Crushed Coral. I love it because it has that nice autumny feel to it. So all I'm going to do basically is saturate the end of my brush and then just start brushing my paint on. And I'm going to make sure that I am doing my edges. And don't use brushes that you're fond of, because when you're painting on this rough wood, it will definitely tear up a good brush. So get yourself some cheap brushes if you want to do this and use those for your project. So I am just painting on my color here. And that's going to dry fairly quickly. So I'm also going to go ahead and just do the other side. This acrylic paint, for me, actually dries a lot faster than the chalk paint that I used on the other project. So we're going to go ahead and just do the other side. So let's get that nicely covered. And I'm actually painting with the grain of the wood, so the grain is actually running top to bottom, and that's how I'm painting. So we'll let this dry, and then we'll come back and do step number 2. All right, so once it's dry, and that dried very quickly, but if you want to speed up the drying process, you can use a hair dryer. Just have it set on like the lowest setting, and you can go across the top, and that'll speed the drying process up. I wouldn't use a heat gun on this because sometimes the heat gun will make your acrylic paints kind of pucker and bubble. So now we're going to add just a little bit of white color. And I'm just going to drop a dab on there. I don't want too much. And I am using my chalk paint for this. And I am just going to put some on the tip of my brush, remove as much of it as I can, and then I'll use my paper towel to pretty much remove a whole bunch of it. Now I can take this and I'll just start randomly hitting this wood where I want my color to be. And I think I want a little bit more color at the edges. So that's all you need to do. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side as well. So I'll pick up just a little bit more paint and then rub it in my paper towel and hit particular spots wherever you might want it. And I am, again, following the grain of the wood. All we need to do is add a little bit of Mod Podge to seal it. I'll do one side with you guys on camera, do the other side off camera. We'll come back and be ready to put this together. So to seal it, I am just taking a foam brush and I am pretty much saturating my brush. And then I'll take my brush and pounce that Mod Podge on, and then I'll smooth it out. And I'm only doing one coat because that's really all I want. And there, we have it coated. We'll let this dry before we do the other side. I'll do the other side off camera and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, so our boards are done and they are ready to have the holes punched in them. So what I'm going to do is I am going to punch my holes using my Crocodile Big Bite. Now, this machine is a true workhorse. Mine is so old that I've actually broken off the feet at the bottom, but it still gets the job done. And it is a true beast. The reason why I bought this was because I saw a demonstration on HSN many years ago when they first came out with the original Crocodile, which I think was pink, and I gave that one to my sister. But the reason why I bought it is because they demoed this punching through metal cans, like green bean cans or sweet pea cans. And I was just blown away. And I like the fact that it had the deep bite on it. So I can slide this all the way back and I can punch. I could actually stick this in and still punch this far into my paper. So I think it takes you about 6 inches into a 12 by 12 inch piece, which is amazing. So that was the reason why I actually bought this. And we're going to be using it to punch through our wood because, as you saw in the previous video, it will punch through wood. So when I'm punching, I'll be punching in about 1/4 of an inch from here to here. So I'm just going to make myself a little mark. And the mark is mainly so that I'll know where I want to start punching. You can't see the mark, but the mark is a guide for me because I want 3 holes. So I made myself a little mark. And then I'm going to make sure my slider here is pressed all the way to the front. I have it set on the 3/16 setting. I'm going to put it in, find that mark I made, and punch. And there's my hole. It went through this wood, and the wood is about 1/8 of an inch thick. So then I'll make sure this is slid all the way to the front. Put it in again. Find that hole and punch. It does take a little bit of pressure, but not too much. Do the same thing here. Find my hole, make sure I'm all the way pushed to the front, and press. So now I have my 3 holes punched. Super simple. And I'll take this piece. Now you can do this one of 2 ways. You can actually take a pen or a pencil, mark a circle, and then you can come back and cut on that. Or you can do what I'm about to do here, which is just line them up. I'm going to take that big bite because it'll go through both of these now. And I'm just going to have the big bite find that original hole, put the lever in the hole, and punch. And that way I know my holes are going to be aligned. And then I'll do the same thing here. So all I'm doing is finding that hole and punching. And I'll do my final one. And now I have all of my holes punched. And you guys know what? I forgot to give credit for this wonderful idea. Credit goes to Kimberly Richardson, who is Sparktabulous here on YouTube. Kimberly has been a cheerleader for my channel for a very long time, and I forgot to mention her in my opening. But when I'm editing this, I'll certainly do a pop-up to give her credit because this idea was given to me by Sparktabulous, and I want to make sure that she gets her credit because I absolutely love it. So now that we have the holes punched, we're going to go ahead and place down the notepad. And the reason why I'm placing down the notepad before I put the seam binding here as my spine is because I need to make sure that I'm not putting the seam binding in too tight, and therefore I need to put the notepad in so that I will have the right depth on this. So I have it open like this, and I'm going to place my notepad down so that it's not hitting the holes of the spine, and we will still have plenty of room left over here for a nice little lip. What I'm going to do is I am going to use some of my amazing Amazon Basics non-permanent repositionable tape. And the reason why I'm doing that is because that will make this notepad refillable. So all you'll need to do is pull this one up when you're done and use some more tape and put your fresh one down. So I am just going to add some of my refillable. And I think I'll put about 3 strips on here. And you can see that refillable right there. It's going to help hold this into place until we're ready to lift it. And I'll take my notepad. I'm going to put it down where I want it. And then I'll press it into place. And so now that we have this down, we can go ahead and place our top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my top cover, place it down. I'm going to take the seam binding and double it, just folding it over. I'll put one piece through there. And then I'll take the second piece and I'm just going to feed it through that hole at the bottom. And we're going to leave it like that for just a minute while we put all of these in. So again, I'm going to take the top piece, feed it through, and then I'll punch it through the bottom piece, and I'm not punching through the seam binding, it's just pushing it through. And then I'll do my last one. And let's push it through here at the bottom. And then what we're going to do is just pull all of these through. And now we can open that loop and just feed this through. And this is how we're creating our spine. So I'm going to open this loop, feed this through, and pull it. Do the same thing here at the bottom. Open that double folded loop, put it through, and pull it. Now when we open this, we can see that it'll open very nicely. Once you have that tension the way that you want it, then I'm going to take my seam binding and just tie myself a little knot so that it will not come undone. And so now we have a nice little spine. I am going to use my scissors to trim away just a little bit of this because I really don't want my crinkled seam binding to be too long on this project. So I am just going to trim it down, really giving it a nice rustic look. And then you can pull that a little bit tighter if you want. And so when you open it, this is what we have, guys. We have a beautiful hardcover sticky notepad, and it's refillable because we can take this out and put a fresh one in. Now we get to do what we love to do on this channel, which is some simple decorating. So to decorate, I'm going to start with my Simple Stories sticker book, and there's a border page here in the book. That's what I want to work with for this project. So I think I'm going to take this one that is a nice chocolate brown with flowers. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take it and just run it down the center instead of on the edge like I did that first one. And then I'll use my big old spatula just to make sure I have that nice and stuck. And then I have some chipboard stickers from Echo Park, and that's what I'm going to use for this. But unfortunately, the SKU on the back is unreadable. So the item number for Echo Park on this is F as in fall, A as in apple, L as in Larry, 251022. If you're looking for this, it is called Echo Park Chipboard Phrases, and the name of the collection is Fall. So that might help you if you're looking for this online. So I am going to open this, and my eye was really drawn to this one first. So I think I'm going to go with my instinct on this, and that is that I'm going to like how that looks on there, and yes, I do. I don't like how clean this is, so I am just going to take my nail file and rough it a little bit. I don't want it to look too perfect, so I'm going to knock off some of that perfection. Now I like that just a little bit better. So I'll take my glue, and y'all know I use Reptile adhesive, and I'm going to place some on the back because I don't want this coming up. Place this down. I'm going to stand up and look at it. And I really love how that looks. I love the color of the paint, but I love how these colors are actually playing off of that paint color. So super sweet. So let's open it and let's decorate the inside. So I am going to bring in my Simple Stories yet again, and I'm going to do something very similar to what I did on the first one. I am just going to lay down a series of stickers here that have a little meaning. This time, I think what I'm going to do is just choose the ones that already have something on them, because before I sort of doubled up to get the layered look. This time I'm just going to place these like this, and I think I want to place the apple. And that's all I'm doing to the inside of mine, but I'm sure that you guys will come up with so many different ways to decorate the inside of yours. And guys, if you're considering doing a craft fair, or you want some stocking stuffers or just little gifts to hand off to people, this is a great idea. Look how gorgeous that actually is. I'm going to bring in the first one so that you can see how similar they are, but how different they are. Because on this one, I went ahead and left this looking nice, shiny, and perfect. On this one, I actually went around and roughed it up a little bit just to remove some of that perfection and make it look a little more worn. And when we open the inside, stayed with the same concept in decorating. I have my 3 little circled messages here, and then we have 3 here on this side as well, and our notepads. So stinking cute. Thank you so much, Sparktabulous, for suggesting this awesome idea. I don't know if I would have gotten there in my thought process. Maybe I would have, I don't know. But you took me there, and I absolutely love it. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this project. And if you have, give a big thumbs up to Sparktabulous, because this was her idea. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join this amazing online crafting family. You guys, as always, please be safe, be kind, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.